This is the third video for 3.5 survey. So far we've created the table, the larger table and the smaller tables, and we've copied the smaller tables in their finished form into the various cells in column 4 of the larger table. The only thing left to do is to deal with borders. So as you can see in the finished version here on the left, there are some top and bottom borders on a lot of these rows. There's a double border in the middle, and other than that, there aren't any borders. So what we're going to do in our version here is we're going to check this anchor right here. Just click that, and that selects the entire outer table. Now it looks as though the inner tables, the little tables, have been selected, but in reality they haven't. So if we go to our border tool and we click on no border, it removes the borders from the entirety of the larger table. The smaller tables still have their boxes there for the respondent to reply. So now it's a matter of selecting the cells that we want borders on in a way that the computer can understand. So let's start with this top one. This top one spans the entire width of the table. In fact, it's the entire width of this bottom cell. So if I select this cell, and just over here to the left I can click and select an entire row, which is what I'm doing. Let's pull this down and let's go to bottom border. Now the bottom border of that cell is the same as the top of the cell above it, and that's something to keep in mind. Now the next one here is underneath the 1, and it goes all the way to the right. So if I click here and drag all the way to the right, including that little bit off the end there, you can see that, well, this toolbar gets in the way, but let's do a bottom border and see what we get. It goes all the way across. So let's not mess with success. Let's just do that again. Bottom border. And so I'm starting just to the left of the number 3, and I'm dragging right off the edge. Bottom border. Now underneath the 4, we're going to go all the way across like this. Now this particular selection has a large column here, and it's got 4 different rows. It's kind of a complicated selection. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the Borders and Shading menu, and it's going to show me a representation of the thing I had highlighted. And what it's showing me is that everything I have highlighted has a top border. Some of the stuff in the middle has got a border too, but there are no vertical borders. So this gray bar means that some of them are, some of them aren't. But of everything I have selected, the entire bottom is going to be a double line. So I'm going to choose a double line, and I'm going to click right here mid-span on the bottom. So in other words, by doing that, everything I have highlighted will have a double border on the bottom. Okay. And that worked successfully. So once again, I'm going to go through, and I'm going to put a border on the bottom. Now you can see that it's left a double border there. The reason it's done that is I've set the default now to double border, so I'm going to have to go back to Borders and Shading and set it back to the single line. And I'll just replace that there. And now it's on the single line setting, so I should be able to just choose the underline bottom border here and here. And once again, this is a toughie. It's going to go all the way across all of it. So once again, I'm going to start here, click all the way across, and then I'm going to go to my window, my Borders and Shading window, recognize this and understand it. Across the top of everything I have selected has that double border, and here it is across the top of everything I had selected. The stuff in the middle, some of them are bordered, some of them aren't. Now they're bordered differently, and that's why it shows up in gray. And I would like to have a single border along the bottom. And I'll say OK. And that's it, we're done.